If there's one thing that binds us together as human beings, it's that we all need to take a dump on a regular basis. If you're healthy, you might drop the kids off at the pool once, twice, or even 3 times a day. And if you've got some unique digestive issues, it might be a little less frequent than that, but you might want to get that checked out. No matter how often you sit on the great white throne, it's important that you know that there is a big toilet conspiracy afoot that could be attacking your body and undermining your health. I only recently discovered this big toilet conspiracy, and once I understood the implications, I took some drastic steps to remove my toilet and replace it with a better, non-big toilet approved model. Today, we'll take a deeper look at this big toilet conspiracy so you understand what it means for your health, for your body, and for your life. So if you're ready, let's get ready to think right, move right, and feel right. Oop, gotta flush. I was not raised or trained to be a home project DIYer at all. I know how to change some car oil and I put in some grout once because I watched a video from YouTube to learn how, but I'm really not competent with home repairs. But a few years ago, I started obsessing about my toilet and wondering what it would take to rip it out. Now, why would you want to rip out and replace a perfectly good toilet, you might justifiably ask? To answer that question, you have to have a little bit of historical context. Up until moving to this house, every single apartment or home that I lived in had what are called standard height toilets. What the heck does that mean? Standard height toilets are 14.5 inches from the floor to the top of the rim. It's what everyone in their 40s and older grew up with. But the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 required toilets in public spaces to be built higher and taller to accommodate those with mobility issues. And this isn't a bad thing, but then the big toilet conspiracy started a slow, creeping, stinky movement that has consequences for everyone. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, toilet manufacturers started marketing these taller toilets for everyone. They called them comfort height or chair height toilets, and they were supposed to be the more modern, comfortable pooping experience for everybody. Before long, they became the go-to choice for anyone who was installing a new toilet. These comfort height or chair height toilets are 16.5 inches from the floor to the top of the rim. When you add a toilet seat on top, you're now sitting effectively 18 or 19 inches from the floor. If you're 6 feet tall, this may not feel like a big difference initially, but it can have some consequences down the line, which we'll discuss later in this video. And if you're shorter, like I'm only 5'7", then it can have some pretty obvious consequences right away that you will not like. Let me explain. We moved into this house about 4 years ago, and when we moved in, I noticed that something was terribly wrong. The toilets were comfort height. While a higher toilet seat position might be easier or necessary for somebody with some disabilities or some leg strength issues, it can put many people in an awkward position, literally and figuratively. Before we dive into those details, it might be helpful to think about this scenario. Now, imagine that you find it difficult to lie down flat to go to sleep. Is the solution then to put your bed on an incline? Should you raise it up like this? Well, adding an incline to my bed means I don't have to lie all the way down flat. This is not really an ideal sleeping position. If you rely on this to help you get down into the bed, you might start thinking, maybe a little more incline will make things even easier. But adding more incline doesn't make me any better at getting into the optimal sleep position. It just gets me used to this very not optimal sleep position. If you had trouble lying down flat to sleep, the solution isn't to add incline so you don't have to lie down. It's to figure out what you need to do to get your body used to going into an optimal sleeping position. Now that you understand that, let's talk about the problems with tall toilets. The first problem is obvious to shorter people like me. Before Western toilets, if you needed to poop, you squatted down and pooped on the ground or in a hole. When you squat to poop, your butt is way down below your knees. Your butt is right by your ankles. This position allows for the easiest possible poop. It positions the payload for maximum efficiency of delivery, and it opens the Bombay doors, so to speak. Now imagine you're trying to poo while standing up. Your butt is way up higher than your knees, way far away from the ground, and the Bombay doors are slammed shut and held locked tight by all the muscles around your butt and your inner thighs. If you really had to poo in this position, you'd have to push really hard, because standing is not the optimal pooping position. The lower you position your butt, the easier it is to poop, with the deep squat being the most easy way to poop as long as you have practice with it. With Western toilets, you're not in a deep squat. Your butt is around the height of your knees. If your toilet were only 8 inches tall, you'd be kind of close to doing a deep squat poop. If it's a standard height toilet at 14.5 inches, you're a little bit higher, but depending on your limb lengths, you might still have your butt below your knees, which is still closer to a deep squat than standing. Remember again that this is the height that we used in America for many years. If you're using a comfort height or chair height toilet at 16.5 inches, well, now your butt is probably at the level of your knees or higher. And remember again that the closer you are to standing, the harder it is to poo. So your higher toilet means it's probably harder to poo. But the problems don't end there. Comfort height makes the descent down to the seat a lot shorter. So for people with disabilities, this makes transferring from a wheelchair or a cane down to the seat a lot easier. For people who just have weak legs and weak hips, this also feels like an advantage in the short term. After all, if your legs are a little wobbly, dropping all the way down to a standard height seat might feel difficult. The higher seat feels safer because you don't have to go down as far. But I want you to think about this. Throughout the Middle East, Africa, India, and East Asia, humans of all ages poop in a squat position on a daily basis. Even as seniors, they can squat down to poop. How do they maintain the strength and mobility to squat down to poop? The answer is actually pretty simple. And no, they are not doing barbell squats and stretching all day long. There are two big factors here. One is that many toilets and many poop holes are low. They might be using the old style squat toilets where they live, so they're used to having to poop in a deep squat. Now, for places that actually have access to more elevated Western style toilets, they may have cultural habits and societal habits that require them to squat on a regular basis. If they lose the ability to squat, they will end up being full of poop. Can we get an AI rendering of that so we can just pop it on? No, probably. Okay, never mind. It's probably better that way. With a Western toilet, and especially with a comfort height toilet, your legs and hips don't have to stay strong enough to do a deep squat. And culturally in the West, we never require you to do a deep squat. So it's very common for you to lose the hip strength and mobility to manage a deep squat position. Over time, this means that you lose the ability to do a deep squat, and even squatting to a standard height toilet seems more and more difficult. And the big toilet conspiracy gets even worse. If you're short like me, you'll notice it pretty quickly, but it's happening no matter what your height. These bigger, taller toilets actually speed up the weakening of your hip and leg muscles. Let me explain. When I sit on a comfort height or chair height toilet, I feel like a preschooler sitting on an adult's toilet. Little of my weight is being borne by my feet. You can see that my butt is higher than my knees, so most of my weight is being supported by my thighs. While my feet can touch the ground, they're not really doing much to support me. All my weight is being taken right here under my thighs on the toilet seat. Doing this for 3 to 10 minutes a day isn't going to kill me right away, of course. But combined with sitting in an office chair or in a car seat or on the couch, the no circulation time to my hamstrings and to my legs really does add up quickly. And if, like many people, you spend 15 minutes on the toilet watching 14-second long YouTube shorts, your legs probably go numb pretty often, and that's not because you're getting old, it's because you shouldn't be crushing your got distracted. Your hamstrings that long on a regular basis. It's just not good for them, especially because they can lead to this next issue. By the way, if you appreciate content like this and you want to support this channel, just hit the subscribe button. It's totally free. If you want to give me some financial support, you can hit the join and thanks buttons on YouTube, or you can go to uprighthealth.com/donate, or if you go to uprighthealth.com/DIY, you can get yourself a free program to help you rebuild your body at home. All are great options. I really appreciate your support. It helps me make videos like this without embedding ads about VPNs, vegetables, smoothie powders, and clothing. So thanks so much for your support. Hit the like button, subscribe, go to my website, and now let's talk about the next insidious thing about big toilets. The big toilet conspiracy is also potentially causing you back pain. As your hamstrings get weaker, your control of your pelvis position is going to deteriorate. You need your hamstrings to be strong so that you can walk efficiently and pick things up safely. If your hamstrings are weak, you'll have trouble getting out of this. If your hamstrings are weak, you'll have trouble getting out of anterior pelvic tilt, which can lead to discomfort and a constant feeling of compression in your lower back. And you will probably not be able to hinge from the hips with a straight spine to pick something up. You're going to round your spine because you've got dysfunctional, weak, stiff hamstrings. This is all made worse if you're a shorter person and you're perched on the toilet with your feet dangling or toes barely touching the floor. In that case, to feel somewhat balanced and to take pressure off your thighs, you're probably sitting in anterior pelvic tilt, which makes it harder to poop and also reinforces the compression in your lower back, which will lead to more and more back pain. And now, let's talk about the least serious but kind of the most annoying issue about these taller toilets. All right, I just turned on the water supply. There's water coming in here, water in the tank. I think I've missed before. It's pretty gross. The toilet in my guest bathroom is comfort height, and because it's comfort height, there is a choice that the manufacturer had to make. They could build up the bottom of the bowl to be higher and closer to the rim, or they could just leave it at the same level so that you now have a larger distance from the bottom of the bowl to the top of the rim. They chose the latter, which is an awful decision because now when you go poo, you have two choices to make. If you sit centered on the seat and choose to drop your payload straight into the water below, you have a greater than 50% chance that you're gonna get hit with some splashback. Or you could try to sit a little more forward on the seat and try to aim to hit the porcelain in front and less of the water, but doing that means the porcelain gets dirty, so you're gonna have to clean it more often, and you might get some number one leakage forward if you're not very careful. Contrast that with the standard height toilet that I installed in the master bathroom, and you can see that the profile is much shallower. You can see that the bowl itself is much shallower. Even if the two toilets had the same profile, a taller toilet means there's further to drop. I asked ChatGPT to help me with the physics here. So an average poop weighs 0.2 to 0.5 pounds, so we went with 0.3 pounds for just a nice manageable round number. So if we assume a drop height of 6 inches to the water, it would have an impact speed of 3.87 miles per hour and kinetic energy of 0.203 joules. If you add just 2 inches to the drop height, so a taller toilet like a chair height, comfort height toilet, you're looking at an impact speed of 4.47 miles per hour and kinetic energy of 0.272 joules. That means you're getting a 15.6% increase in speed and a 34% increase in kinetic energy. So you're looking at a significant increase in splashback energy. Now, a toilet manufacturer could totally mitigate this problem with proper bowl design. They could raise the bottom of the toilet and contour it differently to fix the problem. But the designers of the comfort height toilets in my house certainly didn't do that. I'm talking to you right now, St. Thomas of Asera. The upside of this poor toilet design is I know that guests who are staying over will probably not overstay their welcome. Come check it out. I got my hand in the toilet. So to recap, a tall, comfort height toilet is 2 inches taller than the old standard. This feels easier to sit down and stand up from, but it has hidden consequences that are no good. The actual act of evacuating your bowels will be harder because your butt is higher, and this is made worse the shorter you are. Your hamstrings get crushed, which can lead to weaker legs and back pain, and this is also made worse the shorter you are. And a taller toilet with a deeper bowl increases the odds of significant splashback if it doesn't have an impeccably designed bowl. Unfortunately, finding a standard height toilet bowl can actually be quite challenging. My local Home Depot doesn't stock any toilets that are shorter than comfort height. The employee I talked to in the toilet aisle said, why? Why would you want a toilet that's shorter? Everybody wants a taller toilet. I think this video answers that question. I was able to find a standard height toilet at Lowe's though. They had only one option to choose from, and it was luckily in stock the weekend I was doing this project. Tea looks good, supply line looks good. So finally, I can go in. Bam! Almost electrocuted myself. Nice. I've been very happy with the way this whole project turned out. In fact, 4 days after I installed my new standard height toilet, I got food poisoning. I won't show you any visuals, but suffice it to say that I was really happy I didn't get a bunch of splashback and my hamstrings weren't getting crushed for the long night from 1 a.m. until around 1 or 2 p.m. that day. Now that I've way overshared with you, I'm curious to know how tall your toilet is. Is it comfort height? Is it taller? Why? And now that you've seen all the consequences of using a taller toilet, are you considering using a shorter one? Drop me a comment down below.
Oh, yes.
Check it out, man. I'm playing in the toilet. You want to put one of your toys in here? Maybe you can float a boat in here. Oh, and if you are going to switch to a shorter toilet, you should know in advance that your legs and hips might find it a little bit awkward for a while. 2 inches difference may not sound like a lot, but it can feel like a lot to your leg and hip muscles. So make sure when you're getting up and down, if your legs feel wobbly at all, use some assistance from the countertops or the wall or even a grab bar if you have one. But don't overdo it with your hands. You do want to focus on using your legs to help you get up and down, because stronger legs will ultimately make everything in your life feel a whole lot better. I can't emphasize this enough. Stronger legs and hips are going to improve your balance and improve so many other things in your life besides just the process of taking a dump. So use assistance as you need it, but keep building strength in your legs and hips, and I promise your whole life is gonna get better. Just be patient and remember that slow is safe and fast is foolish. Here, let me do your hair. Come here. I got some water. You can wash your face. If you have an experience with a taller or shorter toilet that you'd like to share, let her rip and drop that comment down below. And if you made it this far, you should probably hit the subscribe button and the like button while you're at it. If you want to support this channel, go to uprighthealth.com/donate or uprighthealth.com/DIY to get yourself a free program that'll help you rebuild your body at home. YouTube and I think you'll enjoy these videos right here. And as always, I hope you remember that pain sucks, life shouldn't.